Yeah, we rolled up at the mountain, hung out for a minute, then we come on back down the road.
No many people.
They might take another tomorrow. Might take the next one too. Feels pretty good. I'm gonna enjoy retirement.
Valentine's Day.
Count the months. Count the months. I got over it here.
Just getting close.
Yeah. I did speak with Josh. He got my information together, so probably at the next meeting, y'all about the board bill. Because everybody should be there. I mean, getting extra calls and whatnot. People been having stuff to do and all. So. And the Cannon representative was there before he came to my house. Just come out and drop down some other things and talk for a moment. And we get
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I guess that's who it is. Chris Chancellor.
and slots.
Could be wrong. Be the second time I've been there. Friday. You come over there.
Okay, I show 7 o'clock. Ms. Brewer, you ready? Okay, 7 o'clock, call this meeting to order. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And with that, Reverend Moss, say a prayer for us, please.
Let us pray. Eternal Master, our God, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for bringing us together to handle the town business. And Lord, as we come to this council meeting, God, we pray that you lead us and guide us by your Spirit and let your power fall fresh in this place. But it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, first order of business, I have a resolution to read. There's a reason why the explanation of the resolution not on there, because we wanted it to be a surprise. So I'm just going to read this and we'll go from there. Resolution 02-14-2022, whereas the Town Council of the Town of Central recognizes the importance of volunteerism and encourages citizens to serve as volunteers. And whereas said council supports helping the Central Tigers football program. And whereas Chris Chancellor has demonstrated his willingness to give of his time and talents to the Central Tigers football program. Mr. Chancellor has displayed constant and compassionate concern for the community. Now whereas it is the desire of the mayor and the town council for the town of Central to formally acknowledge their appreciation for his service both to his community and to the town of Central. Therefore be it resolved that the Central Town Council duly assembled this 14th day of February 2022 do hereby publicly recognize Mr. Chris Chancellor as the Town of Central's Recreation Volunteer of the Year for 2021. Be it further resolved that this resolution be incorporated in and forever a part of the minutes of the meeting of the Town Council held this date. Mr. Chancellor,
You need to make a motion.
let's make a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution 2/14/2022 CC.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Vote unanimous. Mr. Chancellor, come on up.
You can't mess with
Congratulations.
We're right in it. We might be the best part of it.
That's for you.
Okay, hold your plate together right there, thank you. Chris, I'll make sure you get a copy of these.
Congratulations. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
CC.
Okay, we are on to the minutes from the January 10th, 2022 meeting. The minutes are in council's packets. If you had a chance to review them, any corrections, please?
None.
No
None.
corrections?
None.
Do I have a motion for approval?
I move that we adopt the regular town council meeting minutes of Monday, January 10th, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Next, we'll move to public session. Any citizen may speak at a regular meeting on matters pertaining to municipal services and operations. We have 30 minutes allotted. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes and make sure that you signed in if you intend to address council. Did you sign in?
I did. Hello, I think y'all know me. I'm Rochelle Beckner. I'm just gonna read what I've prepared just so I can get through it. Well, actually, I used to be the development director for the YWCA of Charleston, West Virginia. And the time that I was there, we had to raise $1 million to renovate the historic building that our offices occupied. None of our programs, which were social service programs, were in that facility. It was mainly used basically like the rec center. It was a gym, and we outsourced that service through a company called Nautilus. The board, 20 years prior, had signed a basically indefinite lease with Nautilus for $1 a year, so they could occupy that building and run the exercise program for $1 a year and have no obligations to maintain the building. So they used the building, but they weren't responsible for taking care of it. We didn't have the money, and we had to raise the money to fix this building for them to continue. We weren't able to vacate it. Okay, so why am I telling you this story? Because a board cast a vote 20 years prior that had significant impact and tied the hands of the board 20 years later. They couldn't get out of that contract, and they couldn't do anything to escape fixing the dilapidated building. The same could be said for y'all tonight. This proposed amendment that you have before you has long-term implications for our city. In the last year, residents have fought for more transparency, not less. In my opinion, the zoning ordinance amendment limits the public's awareness and their opportunity to be heard. On the other hand, I've heard that it will create more efficiency and be more cost-effective, and that the state law does not require public hearings for annexation. However, state law also doesn't prohibit public hearings. I hope this council wants to do more than just what is required of you, more than the bare minimum. I hope that you want to ensure the public is well informed and has adequate time to weigh in on important decisions like annexation. I hope that each of you will actively listen to residents' concerns and questions, consider the facts and concerns, and vote in a way that you're best representing the people who voted for you. Whatever the advertising costs are, they are worth it to ensure that the residents have adequate opportunity to speak on issues. As it stands, these council meetings limit how long and when residents can speak. Currently, residents only get 5 minutes of an allotted 30-minute period at a council meeting. That doesn't allow much time for all the concerned citizens to speak. With this amendment, you assume residents aren't concerned about annexation, just zoning. But you'll recall that dozens of people spoke out against the Lawton Road annexation last January, only to see it passed anyway. Residents also brought concerns about how to zone the property to both council and the planning commission, and I'm not sure that the compromise was the right decision. I believe you need to consider the zoning amendment more carefully, and I'll explain it more clearly before you vote. After all, once you annex property into town limits, it can't be undone. That decision affects this community in perpetuity. Let's make sure that let's make sure that no matter who sits in these chairs 10, 15, or 20 years from now, that this decision doesn't tie their hands the way the YWCA board's decision did. One final thing on transparency. The community engagement for the comprehensive planning process could have been better. The results of that process have scarcely been mentioned since. I realize that we've had an election and then the holidays, but we haven't had any update on this process. And I would like to see those results and findings presented at a town hall meeting so that it's presented to the entire public. The consultant should share those findings and how they will shape the comp plan. And on another note, that comp plan will help determine a lot of these annexation issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Janie Collins. Thank y'all for giving us this time, and I'm going to just ditto everything that Rochelle just said, but I have a couple of things to add to it, if you would hear me out, please. The first one is the current format that we have for the council meetings only allows the public or the concerned citizens 30 minutes total, and that's 5 minutes per person, to speak at the beginning of the meeting, and I want to focus on the beginning of the meeting. The Clemson Council allows public input all during the meeting. You can raise your hand if you have a question all during the meeting. If these meetings are to become the public hearings, which I think the amendment talks about and is going to take those away, how are you going to ensure that every person gets to voice his or her comments or issues or concerns? Say we have 100 people at the meetings, which like we've had at public hearings before, especially for the Lawton Road proposed subdivision, if we're going to take those public hearings away, how are you going to hear the concerns and the desires of the public? And I just want to remind you, like Rochelle did, we have a brand new council, and it's like a breath of fresh air, I believe. But back in November 2020, that was the first time that I ever got involved coming to these meetings. I was working full time, and I just kind of thought things were going okay. I didn't really know what the council was doing, what they weren't doing. I was kind of in my own bubble. But November 2020, I heard about from a friend at church the proposed subdivision on Lawton Road, and of course, I live on Lawton Road, so I'm very much invested in what goes on, but it's not going to just affect Lawton Road, it's going to affect Gaines Street, Lawton Road, Johnson Road, all the traffic on the other side of the railroad tracks. But so November 2020, I started getting involved, and I started coming to these meetings, and I started coming to the Planning Commission meetings, and I am very vested in what happens in our town, not just for me, but for all of us. There have been a lot of concerned citizens that have started coming to these meetings, and so we want to be able to come to y'all and share with you, what our desires are. And I hope that you will listen. I feel like, and I don't want to go, I don't want to talk negatively because I'm trying to do better than I did last year at these meetings. But I feel like when we had the public hearing for the proposed subdivision on Lawton Road, we had over 100 people, and we had so many people we couldn't have it here. We had to go to the Central Rec in the gymnasium. That's how many people from Central showed up to talk to y'all that we didn't want it. And it was mainly about the annexation, which I think y'all are, with this amendment that you're going to vote on tonight, you're going to take that piece away from us, all of us that sit out here. So, and you're elected to listen to us and to make the best decisions for our town, which is us and you. We all make up the town. And so I'm asking a couple of things. The amendment, I hope you will keep it the way it is so that the public can have the input. And then the format of our council meetings, I would like to ask that you consider changing the public input to the beginning, because a lot of times I sit out here and I'm taking notes as you go once the time for us to talk is over. And there are things that are brought up that I want to raise my hand and ask a question. And in the past, I've been told, no, I can't do that. It's not the time. So I would like to ask that you change the format and maybe adopt how Clemson does their meetings and let the public have input during the meetings. So those are those two things. And then another thing is I'm going to be out of town the whole month of March. And, I'm a concerned citizen. I want to know what's going on. I want to help in any way that I can, but I'm not going to be here the whole month of March, but I don't want to miss anything. So I know with COVID and everything, we used to do the meetings on YouTube, I think it was. So I would like to ask you to please start doing those again so that I can keep up with and other people. I had a person text me today. I know my time's probably up. This is the last thing. I'm sorry. I had a person that came to his first council meeting. It was the work session last Monday night. His name is David. I'm not going to say his last name, but he can't be here tonight. He can't be here until June, but he texted me. He is involved with his church in some kind of ministry, and he can't be here until June. So he said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to be there tonight. Thank you, for what you're doing and what the others are doing. Can you keep me up to date? And I said, I'll try my best, but if we could get these meetings on YouTube, anybody that can't be here tonight for whatever reason could see it and know what's going on in our town. So I'd like to ask you to try to do that, if you would. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we can wave to David right now on YouTube.
You can
So we can wave to David right now on YouTube,
Yes.
wherever the camera is. So we're on YouTube tonight.
Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Can I make a comment on this situation right here, public session, 30 minutes? I don't think it was designed, and it's been flexible. Most of the time I've been on council, Mayor Martin, I think, is the one that introduced that, but it was primarily designed, it had a couple of, I don't know how to describe the people that like to talk a lot and didn't like Mayor Martin and would come and just dominate, and that's the reason the 5-minute limit to kind of close these people down, because they didn't really have anything to say, they just wanted to attack the mayor. And that was primarily the reason, I think. So it's been flexible ever since I've been here, and since Mayor Martin was here, and that's when it was introduced. Am I not right, Philip?
Yes, that's correct. And I think the flexibility also occurs at the work session. That's when a lot of the conversations take place. This meeting is strictly for voting. The discussion is taking place the prior week.
The
And-
planning commission meetings, just to
Yeah.
let you know, I've been told no, I can't ask a question.
Yeah, I think I was at that meeting.
And I thought that was fairly flexible too, over the years that people have
It
had a
got to
question and addressed council, come up to the speaker and address. Is that not true too?
Yeah, I've been in planning commission meetings when it was pretty laid back.
Yeah,
That particular meeting was not.
okay.
He had an agenda and he followed the agenda. But yeah, they tend to be a little flexible too.
I'm not sure that the general public understands that the work sessions are for that dialogue, for that to happen, for people to ask their questions at those meetings. So that might be.
Appreciate everybody's comments. Any other members of town would like to speak?
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Mr. Hayes.
Thank you.
I'm a Central citizen. I moved here last November, 2020. I'm glad to see that things are working out. I got something to talk to you. It's a little off scale than this, if that's all right. I've been led to do a lot of things since I've been here. I've talked about doing things, and one thing that I've not been able to see here is a support group for veterans. Whether y'all believe this or not, we go through a lot. And I talked to Ms. Collins about it once, about me orchestrating one. But I'm not gonna come to the town and ask y'all to give a building, because that's not my style. But I would like y'all support on it. If you know some veterans that are out there, and PTSD is not something to just shriek at. We go through a lot. I got a couple of friends that live here. We went through some pretty intense things. I'm asking you, as the new mayor, to help me get this up and running. and I would appreciate your help. I don't think we need to involve Pickens County, because we know that Pickens County don't always do things the right way. But we'll leave that where it's at. But as the town council, I would ask for y'all's support. That's all I got to
Can I
say.
ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sort of looking for, possibly a place to meet, or what lines are you thinking along?
Well, if I have to meet at my house, that's fine with me, because it'd probably be a better setting for them. I just would like to reach out to the rest of the community and say, hey, and I can't do that by myself, but with everybody y'all know, I figured y'all could help in that aspect. Because I don't want Central just to be known as Central. I want it to be known as the Central I remember, where everybody loved everybody, regardless race, creed, all that. And I think it's time that we come back to that. Like, I know Mr. Moss has been unity in the community. Why don't we do that every year? Not just once a year. This town's got a lot of problems and we need to fix it from us. And y'all strong enough to do it. Go ahead, Ms. Howard.
What is it exactly you're asking us to do? I don't hear very well, and the microphone's not close to your mouth, and so I'm not hearing what you exactly want.
I'm trying to be a little bit more, but I'll be more humble about it. I would like to ask y'all, if you know of some veterans out there that are having a hard time, kindly get their number, and Ms. Chapman can pass it to me, and I can reach out to them. Because they'll talk to me before they'll talk to y'all. And I appreciate it. And if we need something, I just wanted y'all to be behind us on this.
One reason I'm asking, I'm a veteran also from many years ago, but we have the American Legions. We got several of those. I'm a member of one, don't attend regularly, but the American Legion reaches out to all the veterans pretty much. Yeah, but I don't know still exactly what you're wanting to.
American Legion reaches out to us, but they don't set up support groups.
Support groups, all right, hadn't heard that word. Those were support groups, what you're looking for.
And a support group is basically us being able to talk to each other and not have to worry about anything.
All right,
And what stays with us.
thank you, I understand that.
If y'all have any questions, I'll be here all night.
How would you propose us trying to reach out and get the names or who, would fit the mold of, what you want?
Yeah, is this a marketing issues?
We're currently involved with Honor Their Services, the Wounded Warrior Project, which will come back this year. It's the first time it's coming back since COVID. In June, we'll be meeting again up at SWU. That's when we do the big ride. I can get you in contact with Mr. Paulson. He conducts all of that and all the support groups and that sort of thing. And we sponsor them. We do the ride every year before COVID. This year it's coming back. We'll do the ride that goes through here and go up to Kiwi Key. And they will sponsor them and they will stay up there for their event all week. Supporting groups. Paulson, he is in Anderson County now. He is this district's liaison. He conducts all that. I get you in contact with him. But we're currently in that as we speak. I understand that Upstate Warrior does a lot, but some slip through the cracks. And that's the ones I want to say. I'll give you all that information, and he can give you a lot of different contacts with that. Appreciate it. That's all my time. I'm sorry. But congratulations. Glad to see you up here and do good things.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to address council?
Good evening, Mayor, council
Good evening.
members. My name is Curtis Peak. I am a co-owner of Urban Central on Main Street, and I have a few comments that I'd like to make. The first is about the annexation and zoning that Ms. Collins and Ms. Beckner commented about. I am just like they are. I'd like to see some more research done on that, some more dialogue between council and the citizens of Central. I think how it is now is where it needs to sit until further research is done and a wise decision is made. Another comment I'd like to make, and this can go to Chief Thompson, being a business owner on Main Street, there Tuesday through Saturdays, a lot of traffic on Main Street is exceeding the speed limit in a high fashion. What can be done? Speed bumps, mobile speed limit signs put on Main Street so people are aware of their speed as they're going through the business district. A lot of people are crossing the roads from one side of the street to the other, whether they're going to Jitters or coming back to some restaurants. It's a very dangerous situation that I have noticed firsthand. Tonight, as I was coming to council meeting, there was a car probably exceeding 50 miles an hour going down Main Street. It was some dark spots, some people trying to cross from the Ponchos restaurant area over to some parking spots. Just dangerous situations going on downtown with speeds. So if something can be done with that, I would greatly appreciate any help that can be given. And that's the comments that I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
you.
Anyone else? Okay. So we'll move on to receipt and disposition of petitions. Mr. Mishu, do we have anything to report?
None at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Move on to report from council committees, and we have some things to vote on here. So planning, Ms. Bowers.
Can I do planning together and then zoning board of appeals, or do I need to do each separately?
I think whatever's more convenient for you.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we reappoint Justin Reiki and Daniel Baer to the Planning Commission.
And I will second that motion.
Motion is to reappoint Justin Reiki and Daniel Baer to the Planning Commission. Any discussion? All in favor? And that's unanimous.
Okay, I would like to reappoint Carl Austin, Doug Berry, and Michael Spearman to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Is there a second?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to reappoint Carl Austin, Doug Berry, and Michael Spearman to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Any discussion? All in favor? And unanimous.
Planning did not meet last month because of the bad weather, so we will meet tomorrow night at 6:30. And then, the comp plan just went through reviews for the, two guys that are writing it. So they will hopefully get that to, Justin and I next week. And then we will have time to read it, and then it will be presented to the steering committee. But we have not set a meeting for that, so we're thinking the beginning of March that would happen. That's all.
Thank you. Reverend Moss, Streets and Public Safety.
I'm glad to report that the Police Advisory Committee is up and running, and thank the chief for doing what he's done to get it up off the ground. But I'd like to make a motion that we accept the names of Greg Norman, Will Mullinex, James Hanson, and Jonathan Harris to the Police Advisory Committee, as well as myself.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Gregory Norman, Will Mullinax, James Hanson, and Jonathan Harris to the Police Advisory Committee, along with Councilman Moss. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous.
That's all I had to report, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Financing marketing, Ms. Chapman.
I'm sure each of you have had a chance to look at the financial, report, and, thankfully, and on a positive note, our sewer budget is back in the black, and our sanitation is back in black. Our water is, still in the red, and our general fund is in the red, and, as I always do, I would like to defer to Mr. Mishu. Is there anything that you feel like we need to be made aware of?
None of this is unusual. You're gonna be in the red in general fund this time of year. The water revenue, we're still working on the water revenue. We got some issues so far as, if you look down at the water report, we're still having some issues with water loss. So we're gonna do a deeper dive into that and see if we can figure out what's going on there. There are some lines that we flow, so we know that water is coming out of the hydrant and into the ditch. But we're gonna try to get a better number of how much of that we know we're losing, and then see where we're at.
The new water meters that are in the process of being put in, it's my understanding that they should help us as a town realize if there's a leak or something like that.
Yeah.
How much longer is that going to go on before they're all complete?
I think they're all complete now.
Okay.
I think it's all up and running. Didn't it start last month? Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Recreation, Mr. Deal could not be here this evening. He sends his regrets, so I will attempt to do a quick explanation of what is on our agenda for the Green Crescent Trail. I would not nearly do as well of a job as Mr. Deal. Essentially, very quickly, the Friends of the Green Crescent Trail are asking for the town to provide $100,000 to complete or to start a offshoot of the Green Crescent Trail that would run from Cross Creek Road to Spring Forest Drive along our sewer line right away on the property that the town owns. So that is that's a $100,000 request, and there's some information in your packet about where that would be. At the risk of giving you information that is incorrect, because Ken would know that much better than I will stop there. But that is something that's on the table for us to consider, that investment of $100,000 to complete that section of the Green Crescent Trail. And that's it from me on that topic. Enterprise, Mr. Holliday.
Yes, sir. Month of January was a busy month for our Water, Sewer, and Sanitation Department, 250 work orders, which is close to the top. I think they had 271 maybe a month before that. But got more work the last few months than they've had forever. And the Sanitation Department worked on a regular schedule except for the week of January 17th due to ice and snow. So we appreciate what they do. And we have a Water Technology Service Partnership, $22,000 per year for 3 years to vote on. And I don't know the details on that. If anybody needs something, I think Philip has the details if necessary. So I'd like to make a motion to that. Then we can get a second, discuss it if we need to.
What's the motion, Mr. Holliday?
The Water Technology Service Partnership, $22,000 per year for 3 years.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Mishu, can you explain that just a little bit about what we're talking about? I know you explained that to me, but again, I don't want to get it wrong. So can you explain that to us, please?
We need to find out where the lead pipes are in our water system, because we've got a certain time frame that DHEC's requiring us to replace any lead-based pipes. So this is the study to find them, find out where they are. And then after that, we would be looking for a way to fund replacing them. The only other thing I think that you need to know is there's nothing wrong with drinking water. We have to test the water every 6 months or every month, excuse me. So the water's fine. It's just that DHEC has mandated that all systems get rid of their lead pipes. So that's what that is. And then the SCADA upgrade is, I think I explained it as, you know, we got Windows 2 and we need Windows 10. They're not servicing Windows 2 anymore. So the same with the SCADA system. We just got to upgrade to the newest SCADA system.
So we essentially have a computer system that monitors our water, and the old operating system's not working anymore, so we need to get a new operating system. Okay. The $22,000, do we have, where would that $22,000 for the Water Technology Services partnership come from?
We probably just pull it out of sewer reserves.
And then whatever, if and when they find anything to replace those lead pipes, that's grant money that we would seek?
Yes, we think they'll come out with grant money for those types of projects, but the first step is to identify where they are.
Okay. So the motion on the table is to approve the $22,000 per year for 3 years for the Water Technology Services Partnership. Any other discussion? All right, vote. That's unanimous. And do I have a motion on the SCADA upgrade?
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to fund $28,000 for the SCADA upgrade. Any discussion on that?
28,000.
28,000, what did I say?
20, I believe I heard.
I was trying to shave some money off that, Harry.
Nothing wrong with that.
Any discussion? Any questions? All right, vote on that. That's unanimous as well.
Well, it's in my name here. I got a personal comment I need to make, or don't need to, but I'd like to make. But I have a bad memory. So 43 years ago, on Valentine's Day, my wife and I eloped. Since I was only 39 years old, we didn't want my parents to know about it. But I picked Valentine's Day so I could remember when it is. And I know it's 43 years because 11 months after we got married, we had our daughter. So her birthday's in January. So that helps me remember that it's 43 years. She was 42. So that helps my memory. I have to do things, dates, because my first marriage, I got married like July of something. And my birthday was August the 7th. And that didn't work out because I forgot when I got married. So my second wife agreed with me because she knew me good enough that mine don't work right sometimes. So rather than, well, we had our celebration day at lunch and we had a great time as family members, so I can come tonight. We don't have to go out anywhere because it's too crowded anyway.
Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, and I think it's very wise of you, Councilman, that if you forget again, it's now on the permanent record, and we have it in our minutes. So you'll always be able to refer back to know that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Holliday. Mr. Hayes, Tourism and Economic Development.
So I have two things to mention, and they've been mentioned in previous council meetings. This Saturday, there is an event at Nettles Park sponsored by Wreaths Across America. Their mobile education unit will be at Nettles Park with an exhibit. It's basically in a museum designed to honor our veterans. It's scheduled from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So spread that word throughout the community. We'll try to provide some formal way of communicating via calendar on the city's webpage to make people aware of that. So that'll be this Saturday. And in the middle of that window at 11 a.m., they'll have a special ceremony honoring veterans. The second thing I'll mention another key date in front of us, and I'll continue to mention it as we go forward. Mr. Shop, who's here tonight, he spoke of the annual Tiger Town Throwdown Disc Golf Tournament. It is scheduled for March 12th and 13th, and also March 19th and 20th. I've had several conversations with him in recent days, just around the excitement and interest in disc golf that's growing across America. I think this is an opportunity for us to leverage people to sit in on this area and point them in the direction of central town businesses. So we've been working with, Paige and I have been working with Catherine Brooks to provide a strategy and information for those folks who are traveling out of town into Central to point them in the direction of businesses in Central, much like Mr. Peak's business and others. So when they are in town and need to grab a sandwich, we point them to businesses in town so we can keep that business here. So those are two items I had on the agenda. I'd also just like to say I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I appreciate the citizens who spoke tonight. That's a huge part of us being a community and fostering the right growth in Central. So continue to have, be bold and speak your concerns. Thanks to your advocacy for veterans. That's very important that we love our veterans in the community. So I just continue to encourage the citizens to continue to speak out. Allow us to hear your concerns. That's a huge part of this partnership as we grow as a town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Good comments.
Any new business that we need to be aware of? No? How about old business? Okay. So we will move into introduction and consideration of new ordinances, policies, proclamation, and resolutions. So first on the agenda is first reading of ordinance number 03-14-2022, which is an amendment to section 10 of the zoning ordinance. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion, after hearing everyone tonight and their concerns. I do understand that a lot of work has gone into, working the kinks out of this and everything, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that is involved with zoning and Paige. I mean no disrespect to you, but I would like to table this for now so that we can further discuss it and look at it and see, is this in the best interest of the citizens of Central?
Do I have a second?
Second.
So motion on the table is to table moving forward on amendment section 10 of the zoning ordinance. All in favor of that motion?
I'm sorry.
Is that everybody?
Yes.
Okay. That's unanimous. Okay. We will now move to first reading of ordinance number 03-14-2022, which is building codes. Just a quick update on this, and Mr. Mishu, please correct me if I'm wrong. This essentially keeps our building codes and permit fees in line with South Carolina state law and the international building codes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So in other words, instead of having to go back every year and change our permit fee schedule and our codes, we're just saying that automatically we'll follow the state law codes and the international building codes to make sure that we're in compliance. So that is the quick rundown of that ordinance. Do I have a motion on first reading of ordinance 3-14-2022 building codes?
Does it have to be read into the minutes? It doesn't have to be read into the minutes, okay,
I can attach it.
okay.
I'm happy to do so if you'd like.
No, it had just always been read, I was just asking that question.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt on first reading ordinance 3-14-2022 building codes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on adopting on first reading ordinance 03-14-2022 building codes. Any discussion? All in favor? And that's unanimous. Finally, we have a resolution here, Resolution 02-14-2022, SAFE. It's a resolution, not an ordinance, so it'll pass on first reading. Essentially, this is a resolution saying that the town of Central takes safety, employee safety, and loss mitigation seriously. Did I say that simply enough? Okay, happy to read that resolution if council would like me to. Otherwise, do I have a motion on Resolution 2-14-2022 SAFE?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 02-14-2022 SAFE.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? And that is unanimous as well. Move to consideration of ordinances and policies already in possession of council. Do we have anything for that? No, ma'am. Okay. Next, reports for administrator and mayor. Mr. Mishu, you are up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. PCMA is going to have their, get back to our monthly meeting on February 28th. That's Monday in Easley, so I'm going to need to get a head count. 1, 2, 3, 4. With me. All right, thank you. The next thing I got here is an ARPA meeting. I think we need to just have a meeting to discuss the ARPA money and how you want to proceed with that. I would suggest probably more sooner than later. I think Tom and I have about got the list of options, and we got a couple of estimates that we need to get, but other than that, I've got a long list that we can go over and y'all can pick and choose. So I'm looking at a Monday night, either this coming Monday or maybe the Monday after the March meetings. Are all of y'all good with a Monday night?
I would be in March. That would be my preference.
Okay. We can shoot for the third Monday in March if you want. Okay.
That is spring break for the school district. Well, for the college, the university.
Do what?
It's spring break for the university.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm fine with that, but
Is that a problem with anybody here? Okay. And I want to remind you, the council retreat is March 7th at 6 p.m. We'll start. Are we going to start eating earlier than that and get started at 6?
We eat at 6.
Okay. We'll start eating at 6, and
Retreat starts at 6:30.
And the retreat will start at 6:30. And then April 2nd, I just wanted y'all to be aware, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., the Central Clemson CRIT bike race will run from Main Street to Watkins to Pepper Street. And I think that is all. That's going to be closed to traffic. Is that going to be closed to traffic during that time? That's correct. Okay. Just wanted to make y'all aware of that. And then on May 28th, there's going to be a wedding reception at the Rails. So Broad Street is going to be closed between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. And then we just got confirmation tonight that this coming Friday at 9:30, we're going to recognize the police officer of the year and the fireman of the year. PCMA is coming up here. We gave them the award at Christmas time. We went out and bought an award so we could give it to them because PCMA didn't meet in November. So they're going to come down here and just make a special presentation. I'm going to print an agenda and post it 24 hours in advance in case 4 of y'all show up. So the meeting will be legal. So come if you can. That's going to be at 9:30 on Friday morning. Any questions from council?
If there is something that we would like considered for the ARPA meeting, is that a possibility, or does it have to come from yours and Tom's?
Oh, I'm taking suggestions from everybody.
Okay,
So just send me an email. It might already be on the list.
okay.
Yeah, feel free to either call me or send me an email as soon as you can, because if there's estimates involved, getting a dollar figure, that'll give us enough time to get a dollar figure. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
What day is Friday, the 9:30 meeting?
18.
The 18th,
18th of,
February, this coming
month.
Friday,
Oh, okay.
9:30.
I missed that, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michu. That's a good segue. I just wanted to just make a comment briefly about the ARPA money. You know, it's not every day the federal government hands out $2.5 million to the town of Central, and it's even rarer that that $2.5 million has a lot of flexibility with it on how it can be spent. Clearly, there's a lot of interest in that, and as Mr. Michu alluded to, there's already a list of projects that have been bandied about and spoken about informally. But to Councilwoman Bowers' point, I think it's important that that we keep open-minded about this money, and we solicit ideas, and that we're informing the public about the ways we're spending the money. And if some folks have some ideas, I think we should hear those. I think the goal of our council should be openness and collaboration, and how this money's spent. It's a transformational amount of money, and it's not coming every day. So let's be open about it, and we want people to make their thoughts known. We may disagree at the end of the day, and when it's voted on, and how we decide to spend that money. But at least we'll explain to you why we disagree with anything that's suggested. So I think that's very, very important, and it's also important to note that yes, there's been some informal discussions about it, but there's no specific projects that have been finalized, and there's no money that has been spent to this point. So I would just encourage everyone to contact council, contact the mayor's office, let us know what you think, and let's see how we can use this money most effectively. And with that, we need to move to executive session. So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do we have to vote on Green Crescent Trail monies? I'm sorry to ask questions, but.
No, I think if we can make a motion to vote on that, we could do that. Is that correct? Yeah, we could make a motion to spend that money.
Is that not what we were trying to do tonight?
We can.
Is that what
We
you
can
were
go
doing?
ahead and do executive session, and we can come back out and vote,
Okay,
because I think y'all are gonna have to vote on some things anyway.
okay.
South Carolina Law 30-4-70B is the state's Freedom of Information Act, allows council to convene in private executive session. Specific reason for tonight's executive session follows South Carolina Section 30-4-70A related to employment and contractual negotiations and legal matters. So do I have a motion?
I move that we go into executive session.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? We're adjourned for executive session.
We're gonna be on the executive session, you think?
Maybe you want to make it go.
Did our